Good day, viewers. Welcome to this program. My name is Elliot Febe, the Business and Trade Investment UK and Ireland. From time to time, I'll be giving you some updates on international media and international news on what is happening in Zimbabwe. Some of you in Zimbabwe may not have access to what is happening and what is reported about Zimbabwe. So this is an opportunity for you to catch up on what the world thinks about Zimbabwe. Now, today I've got an article from the Guardian in the UK. The Guardian newspaper, today the 20th of October 2018, has got an article that gives a critical analysis of what is happening in Zimbabwe in terms of economic meltdown. Firstly, they acknowledge that things have gone worse since the disputed elections of the 30th July 2018. But not only that, they also looked at, what is this tipping point? Why is it that we've got high price hikes so far, and then we've got shortages of commodities that include fuels, medicines from pharmacies and hospitals. Now, it is also very important to note that the first thing that they acknowledge is that this is not a new phenomenon, but that it is a build-up of the past 37 years under the ZANU-PF misrule. At the helm was also decided that Robert Mugabe. But also they highlighted that the so-called new dispensation led by Emerson Mnangagwa, Symetra across the globe, that Zimbabwe is open for business, was expected to translate after the elections, assuming that the elections were free and fair, to sort of kickstart the economy. In other words, we are looking at the increase of FDI, which is the foreign direct investments, and also the increase of bilateral and multilateral funding for Zimbabwe, which it seems that is not forthcoming for various reasons. Some of the reasons they actually also highlighted. Firstly, they acknowledge that Zimbabwe's external debt at the moment sits at 18 billion US dollars, and with 1.8 billion of that being in arrears, and because of that, then Zimbabwe cannot access cheap lines of credits. In other words, this is why I find that Zimbabwe to resort to domestic debt, which has soared since this government, EDC government, took power through coup in November 2017. High also in their critical analysis is that the tipping point of this policy discord, high prices, shortage of commodities, seems to have been emanating from the new policy introduced by the new Minister of Finance, Mutoli Ngube, of introducing 2 cents per every dollar of an online transaction. Now, why is that an issue? According to Guardian newspaper, they looked at that policy being directed at the informal sector, because Zimbabwe, remember, Zimbabwe was not collecting taxes from the informal sector. And in a country where over 90% is unemployed, then you've got over that much of that 90% is in informal sector, which the government was unable to collect taxes from. And our new Minister of Finance, who is telling me, so that as a sort of a gap in tax collection, and he wanted to come up with this formula of trying to tap into the informal sector, in a way, by the back door. Mind you, the government never even mentioned the informal sector when they introduced the 2% or the 2 cents per every dollar, uh, a departure from the 5 cents per every transaction. So yes, and so the Guardian newspaper looks at it critically to say this was not necessarily solely for the generation of income for the new government, but also for targeting the informal sector. Which means whether you are formally employed or informally employed, you still have to pay tax at the till. Remember, there's also VAT, which everybody was paying, and this 2 cents per dollar is a new tax, but purely targeted at the informal sector. Right. So the Guardian went further to analyze and giving examples of the problems that ordinary Zimbabweans are facing. And one of that is there was an example of a lady who suffers from BP, and she used to pay for the cost of treatment 150 US dollars. That is now gone up from 150 to 770 US dollars for the same cost. Again, assuming that the medication is there, because the medication has vanished from most of the pharmacies. So that was one of the analysis in terms of the challenges that the Zimbabweans are facing. The others, again, there were chronic diseases that they highlighted, that included also in terms of people suffering from diabetes who survive on day-to-day injections, insulin injections, and those are no longer available in pharmacies and also from hospitals, including even from private hospitals. If ever you come across them, they'll be very expensive and totally beyond the reach of an ordinary Zimbabwean. So these are challenges that the Zimbabweans are facing, and this is barely 2 months after the disputed election. You can see that the ZANU-PF government, which has been in power for the past 37 years, has no clue whatsoever in turning around the election, turning around the fortunes of the generality of Zimbabweans. And this is where we are. So I will be giving you further updates as I analyze various newspapers, various media, international medias, on their reports on Zimbabwe. Mind you, sometimes when you're in Zimbabwe, it's very difficult to have a grip or a factual view of what is happening in Zimbabwe. The only media is a state media, which it tries to portray Zimbabwe's business as usual, although we know that at the moment we've got long queues, fuels. That is, if you can find fuel. Otherwise, fuel, the country has run out of fuel. The country run out. Most of the basic commodities have disappeared from the shelves, and if you find them, then they will be beyond the reach of the ordinary Zimbabwean. At the moment, my survey and research have shown that at average, most of the commodities have risen in price by over 400%, staggering 400%. Yes, you got me right, over 400%, and some over 500%, 600%, and this only after 2 months from the disputed 30 July elections. Right, there you are. You've heard current situation and the international media, and critically what is happening on the ground in Zimbabwe. I thank you. Until I bring you further updates, This is Elliot Faber from Business and Trade, UK and Ireland, MDC.